So boom. Woo. Fucking, I'm on good vibes. I'm on good vibes. Believe it or not, there's been a turn of events. There has been a turn of events which will lead me to go back to Amsterdam. And yeah. I just come back from France, actually. It was a failed mission. I went by boat. And yeah. Recently I've had a lot of failed missions. But literally. But it's all good. But as I said, things can change at any moment. Like yesterday, I was trekking. I was just trekking through French countryside. And now I'm just back here. Oh, it was a failed mission. That's all I can say. It's a failed mission. There was a few new things that I did which I have never done before. So that was cool to experience those things. Especially going on the boat. But yeah. Finishing the rest of the weed that I've got. And yeah. It is all good. But once again, just wanted to come on and say well go on. Smoke a zoot. And yeah. Fuck. It's a strong zoot because I put a fuck ton of crystals in. I say a fuck ton, I just cleaned the grinder and used what was in the grinder. But it was enough. Boy, it was enough. But yeah, it's all good. For now. It is all good for now. But yeah, I'm pleased to have a bit of progression. Literally, just some progression. But it is all chilled. I'm feeling blessed. I enjoyed the sun as well. Some nice sun. Smoking my zoots. And yeah. A lot of trekking. But it was just a failed mission. Honestly, a failed mission. Oh wow. But I like to try. I like to attempt these things. And yeah. It's a good attempt. Oh dear. I think I'm going to do a recap. Just of everything. And yeah. So here we go. So boom. I was going to go on a walk. But then I just thought, fuck it. I'll just stay in there nice and warm. So. A review. Recap. I'm going to start way back. For me, sorry, I am recovering from being ill, so just fucking excuse me. For me, it all started fucking continuing on from, okay, not really life story, but just, I'm going to give her just an overview summary, because I think it's time. Plus, yeah, it's interesting for me to get my thoughts out and then look back and see how things have changed. And sometimes certain videos that I watch, I just laugh so hard. I laugh so hard, having no idea what was to come. But yeah, anyway. Even now, I will laugh or cry or both. But yeah, so for me, it all started to change, a new beginning, when I was working for British Airways. And this is like, what, 2 years ago now? And I was just working, like work. I'd come out of my stage of just being crazy. I'm still crazy, I guess, but just every day, just beef and just drama and police and just, yeah. And yeah, so from there, I was working on the straight and narrow. So I was just working. And it was chilled, like I was enjoying myself. I enjoy work when I go to work. I enjoy work. I put in 100%. Like, nobody can say shit when I'm at work because I'm at work. Like, I've always been like that. So, working for British Airways, it was good. Like, it was good. From a security point of view, it was good because sometimes you can work places and it's just dead. Like, you either don't have the right equipment or it's cold or, you know, there's less facilities or whatever. You could be anywhere. You could be on like a building site and the building is not even finished and you're just in an empty brick scaffolding shell with nothing in it. Like, and that's where you are for 12 hours. So sometimes it can be a bit long. So when you get a nice little good cushy gig, it's always nice and you always appreciate it. So I was in this brand new building, state-of-the-art equipment, state-of-the-art cameras, everything. And I worked there for maybe 3-4 weeks. Just solid every single day, just constant, just doing the overnights. I mean, I'd done a few day shifts, but the overnights were the ones for me. I'm a night person. I can stay up at night. So that was that. And then Brighton Hove Albion went into the Premier League. And it was that day that they went into the Premier League that just blew everything out the water, because I had a specific incident where these guys were coming down. There was like pissing at the door. There was just being loud, being aggro, and just being nutty. Now, I went out and I spoke to them and I just said, look, there's a beach just over that way. Just go and take a slash on the beach and just keep it chilled. Because it's football. Like, I worked football for 3 years, like 3-4 years. So I understand that football is just rowdy, like people are knobheads. And that's that. People just accept that people are knobheads. It's just going to happen. So I wasn't any way with them. Like, I wasn't, you know, it wasn't that much of a big deal. They was just being knobheads and it was just getting a bit out of hand. So plus from a security perspective, like, basically it was just annoying because, well, you have these people, these managers, these suits, I call them, the suits that will come and they'll moan and they'll say all the things that you haven't dealt with and this and this and this. And then when you deal with something, they're like, oh, you shouldn't have dealt with this, you should have dealt with it this way, and you should have dealt with this that way. And, oh, mate, it was just bullshit. Like, literally, there was just so much politics and bitching. It was just unreal. So, cut a long story short, there's a scuffle with these guys because they're unhappy that they've been spoken to. They go across the road to the pub, get their friends to come back, and it's on. So they're chucking stuff down, this, and eventually they leave. I continue my night shift, and that's that. Now, in the morning, I go home, I get a call. Oh, we've had a report, this. They're not very happy with the way that you've treated the situation. And that's that. They're not going to have you back. The company I was working for was sound. Like, they had no issues with how I dealt with the situation. Like I said, it was football. Everyone understands if you work a football job and something kicks off, it's not really the end of the world because it's football. It's one of those jobs where it's accepted if there's going to be a fight or a scuffle or an altercation. Like, it will happen at football. So that was fine. But for the corporate side of things, they just weren't happy with how it was dealt with and their image and this and this and this and whatever. So for me, I was just super pissed. Like, I was super pissed because I've been there like a month practically, and like maybe even a bit longer, but 4 weeks. And like, yeah, they just been like, oh, and I would always put up with their bullshit. I'd looked after their building, made sure it was nice and smooth and secure and nice. I take pride in my job. I like what I do. I don't go into a job or go to work not wanting to be at work, not wanting to be in the job that I'm in. Like, that's not how I am. Like, many people are like that, which is another reason why I hate work, because you go into work and people don't give a fuck about work. They're just there for the money. And that's not a good attitude to have, because it reflects back on the people that you're interacting with in a working capacity, in a professional way. So, yeah, that just really irritates me if people are just, yeah. But if you've got bills and kids and families and wives and mortgages and this and all this mainstream bullshit, adult things that people deal with, then obviously you're not going to care about bullshit. You're just going to be thinking, I just need the money because I've got family and I've got this and I've got bills and I've got that. Whereas I'm not like that. So, yeah. Anyway, that was really starting to grind me down. I moved on to a couple of other jobs and I was just sort of working. This is just every single day, just working every day. And it was chilled. Like, I was happy. I was tired, but I was chilled. It was okay. And then I just got more and more pissed about the British Airways incident. Like, literally, I just got more and more pissed. Like, nothing even came of it. Like, as I said, nothing came of it. It was football. Like, everyone was satisfied with what happened. Like, nobody was against me in terms of a working capacity. Apart from the fucking i360. So, from there, I was doing little bits and pieces, as I said. And then I wanted to travel. Like, I just wanted to travel. I'd had enough of working. And I just wanted to travel and just enjoy life. Like, just enjoy life, get a bit of sun, you know, smoke my weed, try the different weed in different places, and that was that. It was always about the travelling. I'd kind of gone off work, and I just, had enough of work. So, from there, starting the trip off was Amsterdam. Now, when I went to Amsterdam, I had no idea what to expect. Everyone had mentioned it in streams and just in passing and this in general conversation, because knowing I'm a smoker, oh, go Amsterdam. Have you been to Amsterdam? Have you been to Amsterdam? Go Amsterdam. Oh, you should go to Amsterdam. Have you been to Amsterdam? Yeah. It just something that kept coming up. And I was just like, this Amsterdam, like, I just didn't think nothing of it. Oh, obviously, I knew of Amsterdam, but that was it. Like, I knew nothing about it. I knew about weed and I knew about red light district. They were the only two things that I knew about Amsterdam in terms of what's in Amsterdam. That's all I would be able to say. I wouldn't be able to tell you about infrastructure, what it's like, people, nothing. I went. It was a 3-day trip, and it was chilled. Like, literally, it was absolutely chilled. There was nothing. No drama, no beef, no nothing. I mean, there never is. It's Amsterdam. Like, it's a very chilled place. Like, yeah, it's a very chilled place. Like, there's no trouble. There is no trouble. Like, there's no trouble. So, I went, and then from there, it was the next trip, and that was to Portugal. And Portugal was chilled because I was only supposed to be there for maybe 2 weeks, was my original booking where I was staying. And I ended up staying for about 2.5 months. And that was really good. Like, it was good. I went swimming, went to the beach, as you saw. You know, it was nice. I had a few uploading issues, so it was kind of stressing me out for YouTube because I couldn't make proper videos that I wanted to make. But I managed to get a few clips up here and there, which you can go back and watch if you wish. So, there was that. There was the Portugal trip. And then from there, I went back to Amsterdam. And it was chilled. Once again, it was chilled. It was nice. It was relaxed. While I was in Portugal, I had the opportunity to go to Kenya. And that came up. And again, I jumped at the chance because when I was in Ghana, like, I wanted to go to Kenya. And I literally was always being like, drive me to Kenya, let's go to Kenya, when can we go to Kenya? And it was a case of, well, Ghana is on the west, Kenya is in the east. So to drive from one side of Africa to the other, it's a long fucking way. Like, it's a long way. Like, you can't just drive. Like, it's not like just driving to London. Like, you can't just drive there. Like, you can, but it's a fucking long journey. Not something that I was able to do the allotted time that I had because I was doing other things. So when the opportunity came up to come to Kenya, I was like, sweet, I'm there. So I went back to Amsterdam for a bit. Then I went to Spain for 1 week. I got my visa sorted out. And while I was there, the visa was being processed. So by the time I got back to England from Spain, I could then just go straight off to Kenya. Spain was good because I got... Excuse me. I got weed. Like, literally, it took me so long to get weed. And I got weed off these two guys. It was banging. No, I got weed off one guy. It was banging. He was just riding his bike around, and he just came up to me and was like, "Oh, do you need weed?" And I was like, "Yes, I do. Like, literally, I do." And I was so happy. And then I didn't see him again. Like, I was supposed to meet him like the following night, and in the same spot, like in the spot where we met, but we just didn't see each other again. Like, I had missed him. I went to Burger King, and I came back, and then I'd forgot that I was actually going to meet him. And when I came back down, he just wasn't about. Like, I looked for him on his bike, and I went round the block, but he just wasn't about. So I was just like, peak. Like, I was so upset. And then on my way out, I was going to buy like a grinder and this and this and this. I saw some dealers. I saw two guys. I didn't even know they were dealers. And I just went up to them and I was like, "Oh, can you sell me some weed? Like, have you got some weed?" And they was like, "Yes, we've got weed. This is what I can give you." And they must have given me maybe 2 grams, 2.5 grams. And they charged me about €15 for it, which I thought was very reasonable for the density of the nug, like literally the density of the buds, the nugs, the quality of the weed. It was very potent, dank, like it was decent weed, no seeds, like it was chilled. And I was so excited, like literally the video is on there of picking up weed, like it's like I've got weed or picked up weed or yeah, but it's one of the videos where I'm not in England, like so check it out. But yeah, I'm literally just so excited. Like, I literally could cry. Like, that day, like, I picked up weed. It was just, Anyway, one of the best times to pick up. Best times. Portugal, I was just smoking hash, which was okay. But it wasn't that great. So moving on from there, I flew out to Kenya from England. After the Spain trip, I was only in Spain a week. Now, Kenya was good. Like, it was really good. I got to do loads of different things. Like, literally so many different things. Because, like, I wanted just, like, a little local vibe. Because when I had been to Ghana, both times it was, like, just, like, a prince's vibe, basically. Like, you just fucking, everything is just catered for. Like, everything is catered for. You have cars, drivers, compounds, armed policemen on your gates. You like, no burglaries whatsoever. Like, you just wouldn't experience no crime. Like, you don't get stopped by policemen. Like, you don't get, like, corrupt policemen coming up to you and asking you for bribes. Like, it just doesn't happen. Like, it just didn't happen. Like, it just, yeah, everything was just perfect. So the next time I wanted to go to, the next African country that I went to, I had it in my mind that I would live a local lifestyle in terms of just being on a budget and yeah, purposely making myself just be on a budget and not have just everything at your disposal, which wasn't going to happen anyway because I was with the Foreign Office before that. So that's why I had so much at my disposal because I was just with the government. So it's just, yeah, chilled. So, although I hate on the government, they actually treat you very well. They treat you well until you fuck them over, like literally. Or they've got no use for you. But I wasn't in that position, so it was okay. So, moving on to Kenya. It was chilled because the first 2 weeks I was compound living and I really wanted to avoid compound living. However, the opportunity that presented itself through that compound living was really good. I got to go out into like Kibera, the slum, see slum life and work in there and just see different things, like see things that I've never seen before. So it was good and it was in like a controlled environment because as I said, I was with a program. And yeah, you'd go out with somebody or you'd meet up with someone in the community and then they would take you to wherever you want to go or to wherever they're going to show you. So that was good. Then the rest of my trip was cut short. It was in 2 parts, the Kenya trip. It was the first half and then the second half. The first half was compound life. And then because of me smoking weed, I got caught by the police smoking weed out there. And yeah, it wasn't good. But it could have been a lot worse, like, and there was jokes, because I told, like, a few people what happened, and it was just, like, you just literally got tickled by the police, like, you just got tickled, like, the amount of shit that's happened to them by the police there, like, just because they've been smoking, it's pretty unreal, but that's the way it is, like, smoking is forbidden, so, don't smoke. I mean, people do, but not in the same way. Like, this is a thing, people think they smoke out there, but they don't. So yeah, that was that. The one of the people that was at this compound that was like running it, I guess, like a manager, you could call him. He came down, spoke to the police officers. He was local. He arranged something, sorted it all out, and that was it. I was free to go. Although they took my pouch of tobacco, and as I was driving away, like walking into the car, I had the cheek to ask them, "Oh, can I have my pouch of tobacco back, please?" Because there was just one little stick of weed in there. The rest was tobacco. And as I said, the smoking situation is not great, so you can't buy pouches of tobacco. Well, actually, you can at the airport. I found that you could buy a Golden Virginia at the airport, which I still never ended up buying. But yeah, that was that. I was on a plane. I was very sad and I was very upset, but that was that. Also, out of nowhere, I started to get involved with this girl. Girls, in general. Why? I have no clue. Anyway, that died a death because, well, there was a situation where there was another girl and then it just collided. Like, it just collided. So yeah, that was that. The second half of the trip, again, was just me just staying places. But it was like local living, so it's just normal accommodation or apartments just in normal areas. So it was nice. I could go to the shop, go to the kiosk, this, and it was fine. It was chilled. Although towards the end of my trip, I started running out of money. And like, when you run out of money in Africa, like, you run out of money. Like, that's it. Like, you've just run out of money. Like, there's no extra. Like, there's no like just daily substances. Like yes, I made myself really ill by being just on the streets, like just roaming about, sleeping in weird places, but like there's a bit of substance coming in, like there's a bit of something coming in. Like, yeah, I did make myself sick, so that's why I've had to reconsider my roughing it mentality, because I've had an experience which, yeah, just it was just so shit. Like, this year I was just so ill. Like, and like I've said, if I'm ill, then it's just me that's ill. Nobody in the world is also ill. So yeah, that was that. But the money started to run low, so I could either stay and just rough it, or I could fucking come back. And yeah, that was the choices, but I couldn't really rough it because, yeah, like I said, once you run out of money, that's it. So I came back to England. Now, in between those two parts, the first half, I went back to Amsterdam, renewed my visa, flew back to Kenya, continued my trip, and then finished it off late August, beginning of September. Now, from there, I came back, and I was, was I working? Yeah, I was working maybe the first 2 weeks. Yeah, I was working for the first 2-3 weeks, like solid. The first 2 weeks was solid every day, and then it started to just fiddle out, just, yeah, not really. Now, in order for me to work, yeah, like, I need a license. Now, that license was due to run out in January of this year. So basically, I could have just renewed my license and then continue to work, or I could just not renew my license and just, that would be it. I'd need to look for another line of work. Now, bearing in mind, I was just getting pissed. Like, literally, I was getting pissed with fucking work. I was just getting pissed at work, because my job just can be a bit of a ball ache sometimes. And yeah, it's the kind of job where, you know, it's a ball ache, so you can either choose to go into work or you can choose not to go into work. But I don't like going into work and then bitching how shit work is. No, that's not good for anyone. So I was like, fuck it. I'm not gonna renew my badge. So hold on 1 second. I'll continue on. From there, I said, right, what am I gonna do with myself? Like, literally, what am I gonna do with myself? And I went to Amsterdam, and that was it. So that was when the Amsterdam trip starts to come into play, right? And basically, the Amsterdam trip was chilled, but then this trip was specifically going to maybe potentially settle, find work, a job, this, what. So I was just kind of like to myself, okay. But then in the back of my mind, I knew that it kind of was just going to be a bit of a fucking ball ache, and just the fact of, excuse me, just the fact of like, yeah. It was my blank canvas, mate. It's where I would always go just for a couple of days, just to chill, relax, just the blank canvas, just nothing, right? So this sort of trip of Amsterdam is just, yeah, the blank canvas is gone. There's just drawings all over that canvas, because like I met so many different people, and I didn't actually have any bad experiences in meeting people. Like, it was chilled. Like, you meet such good people in Amsterdam, like people that you spend ages looking for, just if you was in your daily life. But in Amsterdam, you just meet them straight away, because everyone smokes. Like, smoking is a good social thing. Like, literally, it's a good social thing. So yeah, I met loads of people, and it was chilled. Like, literally, it was chilled. So from there, I was still looking, but I had to get a tax number and a work permit and this, which I got. It was fine. Which, again, it was weird, because there's a lot of people that was finding it difficult, but I literally just went down there, and it was just, that was it. Like, I just had to go down there, and they just give you a number on a piece of paper, and then you leave. It literally took me like 5 minutes. Like 5 minutes. But there was so much hype and build up of, oh, you've got to get this number, blah, blah, blah. And it was like a mysterious thing. So I thought it was going to be like proper long and difficult, and it just wasn't. So yeah, basically, I got my work permit, got everything sorted. I also needed to get a bank account. I had an appointment for the bank, but then that just went kaput. I turned up, and then I was like, we don't deal with international clients. You need to go to a specific branch that deals with international clients. So rebook your appointment. So I never rebooked my appointment, because, yeah, I was chilling, smoking, just living up life on the side anyway. So I was just like, okay, whatever, cool. That didn't work out. I'm not going to try again. However, if I do try again, I'll be switching to a completely different bank, because that specific bank, I don't know, I mean, I could go with both, but it seems a bit long. Whereas I've heard that the other bank is a lot better. Anyway, so that was that. In order to get a job, you need this number and you need a bank account. So yeah, they're the main two things that I was sort of working on, and in terms of progression to do. Now, because of the whole bank account situation and not having a fixed address within the Netherlands, like, it was very difficult. So I kind of just put it on hold. I won't say gave up, I'll just say put it on hold. But yeah, that was that. So on the side, like underneath all of this happening, I was just chilling, going out, like coffee shops every day, like smoking every day, like so much weed. You can try at least 5 strains in one day, like literally 5 strains of herb in one day. You could quite easily smash that out when you're in Dam, like, and you won't need to try. It's not something that you need to try. Like, you don't need to specifically think. Whereas when I'm in England, I just buy whatever the dealer has, and that's it. I don't actually physically go out of my way to say, right, I'm going to have some lemon sour diesel, I'm going to have some strawberry kush, and I'm going to have some haze. Like, I don't do that. I just, whatever is there. Whereas in Amsterdam, like, you just buy a gram of this, a gram of that, gram of this, gram of that, and then you buy some hash. Like, literally. So it's just completely different when you're buying weed, because it's just so much choice. You smell the weed, they bag it up in front of you. Well, some of them bag it up in front of you, but yeah. And yeah, that's that. So for me, it was chilled. I was still having a good time. I was still living life. I'm still enjoying myself. And then I had a specific incident where there was a police situation, shall we say, for this specific incident, and I was arrested. Now, for me, this is not really a big deal. Looking back on it, it's fine, it's chilled, like, it's not that much of a big deal, like, it's not a stress at all. But, like, yeah, it's just kind of like a little bit of a hindrance, maybe, like a little bit of a hindrance, because psychologically, people think a certain way about getting arrested. So, yeah, even though for me, like, I don't see it as anything, there are people that do see it as something, which is very annoying for me. So, for me, it's just a case of not allowing other people's opinions to affect your mentality. Because, yeah, like for me, I agree with law and order, but there's certain things that if you do, regardless if it says it's against the law, it doesn't make it against the law. It doesn't make it actually a bad thing. It just says it's against the law. Weed being one of those things. Like, it's one of those things. And bringing weed through the airport is another one of those things. Like, for me, I don't think it's something that's like, yeah, that big of a deal. Like, it's, yeah. But yeah, you could get arrested for importing drugs, but then it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, that's not happened, but I'm just saying as an example, like, it's not something that I consider, like, yeah, you can get arrested, but it's not actually bad, like, because then you've got, but this is the irony, yeah, God forbid you're not allowed to bring weed to an airport, right, but then you've got, like, maybe 12 police officers all lined up dressed like soldiers with machine guns and pistols, and you've got children there as well. But whoa, TCP, calm down, don't bring weed to the airport. But yeah, you can have all those guys there with machine guns, where the only purpose for a gun is to kill. Like, literally, who am I going to kill in an airport with weed? But who can you kill with a machine gun in an airport? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I like to think logically, and logically it doesn't make sense. Like, you can't bring weed through the airport, but it's okay for them to have machine guns. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, for me, getting arrested is something that's just like all taboo. Like, it's a split 50-50. Like, people are just down the middle about it. It's not one side or the other. It's just, yeah. But I can make predictions and know how certain things go, but then when you're in that moment and those predictions have come true, it's just like people forget everything that you've said beforehand, and they only focus about the action and, oh, why did you do that, da 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 da. But it's like, but I've told you how things work. But then when you're in the moment, it's no until it happens, and then suddenly everyone wants to change their attitude, but they don't want to take you seriously and listen to what you say before the event actually happens. So anyway, the arrest happened, and that was that. Now, on the side from that, I also handed out loads of CVs and shit, and just going into different places, and nobody got back to me. So that just was really, really pissing me off. Like, literally, it was really pissing me off. So I was just like, right, okay, just continue to chill, live it up, go out, and yeah, have a good time. Until one of these jobs got back to me that I really, really wanted. Like, I really, really wanted it. And they got back to me, and I didn't even know they replied. I didn't know they replied. I didn't check my phone, my emails, nothing. I just didn't know they replied. Till one day I just randomly looked at my email, and I was like, oh shit, they replied. As soon as I got that email, I went down there, and I was like, look, I'm here, I'm ready. And it was like, the position has been filled. I was like, fuck. Literally, fuck. So I was like, okay. I was a bit gutted. Like, I was a bit gutted, but it's like, what could I do? And then that was that. So from there, I was like, Then, fucking from there, the position came up again, and I missed it again. But unfortunately, I'd been in correspondence with the manager to say, look, I'm available. Just keep me in mind and don't fucking give it away so quick, because I will want it. I will fucking want it. So that was that. They contacted me again. A position has become available, but obviously I'm in England. However, yeah, we'll see how it goes, because again, there's been some back and forth and the position has been held. So that is that. But there's also another situation which needs to be dealt with. So I'll deal with that situation, then we'll see the outcome of that situation, and then from there we'll move on to this situation of work and employment, which I'm very looking forward to. But the other situation has to pan out in order for me to get the work and employment. So yeah. For me, it's been a case of traveling here, there, everywhere, and I've enjoyed it. Like, it's been great. Like, there's been no like oh, I wish I didn't go here, or I wish I didn't go there, because I've enjoyed every place I've traveled to. But now it's a case of the money situation, right? The funding. Now, for me, I've realised that funding has come in handy, because I was sick. I was very sick and I had no funds, so I realised what it was like without funds, and realising that certain times you do need a little bit of extra funds just so you don't die. And I don't agree with that. I really don't agree with that, but I have acknowledged it. So yeah. That is where I'm at the moment. But I thought I'd just give a little recap, just to say this is what I've got on. Because, yeah, it's just been up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down the whole time. And it's just, ugh. Yeah, long. But it's all good. Like, literally, it is all good. So, as I said, I'm very much hoping that this situation can come off well. And in that way, I can go for the other situation. There's lots of situations. There was another situation, actually, that was based here. But, again, it was not at the right time. So, yeah. But, again, we'll see what comes of it, because in the summer, it'll be a situation. It'll be an option. So, we'll see. But for me, I'm all good. I'm staying blessed. But it's just been very up and down. Very, very up and down. But that's life, isn't it, as they say. You just, oh well, move on. As I've been told so many fucking times. But yeah. It's all good. It is all good. And that's that. Right, that is that. Save for your positive feedback and your ongoing support on the channel. And yeah. Sometimes I get a bit hesitant to upload, because my style is just raw, record the thoughts, simply, that's it, like just making the video, And yeah, I feel there's too much saturation of just edited, just fucking, just garbage, like just cancer, just, yeah, it's too much. So I like to just keep it just nice, plain, simple, basic, straightforward and to the point. Not always straightforward and to the point, because I did go on a bit, but yeah, you get what I mean. But yeah, I do sometimes get a bit hesitant. Not that I want to post mainstream videos, but just mainstream videos are... People eat them up, mate. People eat them up. Even though it's bullshit, people still watch them and they still eat them up. So, yeah. I try and keep away from that. And I've always said, always, for whatever reason, should my channel have any large, like really large amount of subscribers, I'd always just want to just keep it chill. Like, I don't want to just purposely sit down, think of a viral video or think of something crazy to do to get views, and then you just have loads of subscribers, but it's just because you just do fucking just mad stuff that's just for views, rather than just because that's your actual life. Like, yeah. But then even with that mindset, my subscribers have still gone up, and yeah, it's not something that just goes down. And at first I didn't want subscribers, but then, yeah, it's not something I can really avoid. I have a backup channel just in case. I have a backup channel. So if this channel has too many subscribers, I can just go back to 0 and just start again. So it's all good. But thank you anyway. Thank you for your sub, I guess. It's so lame, mate. I'm really not into it. I just like posting my stuff and that's it. But yeah. It's times like these where I miss Amsterdam, because just being able to go to the coffee shop and get weed, it's just like, oh. And then now it's just like, you just gotta wait. Or you'd have to just fucking wait. So it's just like, oh. I haven't made contact with the dealer, but I just know it'll be long. So I'm just kind of just biding my time. Get some food, maybe. Take it from there. But yeah, that's that. There was a bit of sun out earlier, and now it's just disappeared. Clouds rolled over. And I'm like, fucking look at this. Fuck the sun, look at me instead. The grey clouds. But yeah, I feel very agitated, and yeah, just impulsive. But then this is the thing, I have these things, and it's just like, whenever I feel like this, it's just annoying. But then at the same time, you can just easily just wait. I literally just wait. For me, it has to be all the time, just like go, 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 go. If something's gonna happen, then it's just gotta be, come on, what are you waiting for? If you're gonna do something, then let's do it. But it's not always like that. So you just have to wait. But for me, during those waiting processes, like, yeah, I get impatient. I'm not a patient person. So it's just a case of you make rash decisions in the moment, just to obviously occupy that couple of hours, but then the next day is completely different. But it's like, well, why couldn't it happen when I want it to happen? But that's life. You just have to wait. But yeah, very impulsive. Right now, just an impulsive decision. Like yesterday, I went to France on a mission, which was an impulsive decision. But yeah, it was a fail. Like, it was a massive fail. I didn't get very far. I got out of the border town and that's it. I trekked out of the border town and trekked back. And got on a boat, came back to England. It was such a fail. Like, it was such a fail. But again, it was just an impulsive decision of, I need to be doing something right now. So I've just got to, yeah, keep it on a level. Anyway. Yeah. Three days to wait. Until I'm back in Amsterdam. 3 days. 3 days is not a long time. But then in my mind, it feels like an eternity. But yeah, anyway, that is all. Safe for watching. And yeah, stay blessed, stay lean, and peace.